Get caught.
How to groom effectively.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but the Manchester Evening News broke a story that was it 14 years ago, 16 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, but it was over 15 years.
We know it's still happening,
yeah.
but basically it's another one of those grooming gangs, and they've now called it Asian grooming gangs, but the truth is, at the risk of everything else, it's a Pakistani grooming gang.
I'm fucking sick of that. I'm fucking sick of them saying that.
It's Pakistani,
if it was
predominantly.
a gang of Frenchmen, even second generation or first generation, or whatever, it would be a gang of French rapists.
Here's the thing of what happened is they identified that dozens of girls, young girls, had been taken from care homes and were being raped. And the social workers and the police knew this was happening. Knew it. Not like we think they knew. They knew it was happening. They launched an operation. It says, remember, we'd already seen Rotherham, Rochdale, okay, the one down south, all of these. They identified 100 males who were suspects. Several of those have now gone on later to be imprisoned and found guilty of offences. 100 men, all Pakistani. Do you know what the police were told? Go and find another ethnicity.
Yeah.
So do you know what they did? Left them alone, found a white pedo, and banged him up.
Yeah.
Now, I've not got a problem with banging up the white pedos.
No.
But they ignored 100 potential child rapists.
Dude, every single person I worked with when I was in that industry was white. Every single person. There was no... And the safeguarding was very high. Like, they weren't... like, any guests had to be recorded. Times out and in had to be recorded. Obviously, it was all on camera. And I had to clearly explain to them, I am an employee here. Everything you do is on camera. If you do anything, I will tell the police. I have to tell the police. I will lose my job if I don't tell the police. I'm not covering you in any way whatsoever. And I got a good relationship with the sexual offenders unit. I knew them. All women, by the way. It was great when they visited. But there was a fucking high bar there in terms of keeping an eye on people, and they monitored people if they wanted to.
Well, one of the problems we got is when we talk about this, and I've just gone there Pakistani, is you want to be, the reason you might want to be careful is there's always a dog pile. And, there are a lot of Pakistani people calling them animals, monsters, should banged up for life online too. And they're getting dogpiled because they happen to share the same birth religion as these fucking animals. But sometimes you've got to go, well, the fact is, it is predominantly Pakistani men or people of Pakistani descent. Usually first or second generation.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
They're the worst offenders. There's something where they view young white girls or some young black girls as obviously lesser human beings to themselves, because they're the ones they predominantly target, and they ply them with drugs. One girl died after being injected with heroin. Again, social workers knew this was happening.
They knew they were
nailed on you. Now, I saw some, I've not read too much about it. There's been one in Oldham. A journalist contacted a counsellor in Oldham to talk about a grooming gang there, and was told, back off a little bit, we're looking into it. They then said, you just got to back off because it was around the time of Lee Rigby's funeral. We don't want to cause an upsurging feeling in the community.
Yeah.
Are they really saying that the Pakistani or Asian community in that area would somehow rise up against the police if the police arrested paedophiles?
It's insane. And it's even more insane.
That's racist in itself.
Yeah. To assume that Pakistani people can't handle that, but they themselves are the ones calling for help. They're the ones contacting the police saying, people are raping people. They've not got this weird brown skin loyalty. The same way that if my neighbour was a rapist and he was a white guy, I'd be fucking arrested.
There was a thing just a few years ago. Greater Manchester Police had an initiative where they wouldn't arrest Muslim people on Ramadan for non-specific, non-violent stuff. Smaller. The largest outcry was from Muslim leaders in the city going, what are you fucking doing? What do you think you are doing for us by not arresting criminals?
Yeah, 100%.
Who does this help? We've still got criminals here, and then everyone hates us because they think we're protecting the criminals.
Yeah. And ultimately,
I think that's something we have to set aside. It's not political correctness gone mad. At some point, someone's going to have to say, yes, we know the police have behaved abominably, and how any fucking one of them gets a pension or anything like that. One police officer stepped forward. I followed her on Twitter. I don't have her name with me, which is shameful. It's on my Twitter feed. One police officer. Every other police officer involved in that should hang their heads in fucking shame because you protected your fucking income knowing kids were being raped. Children. Fucking children. Children were being raped, dude. And someone went, well, I've got to think about my mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, we don't. The politics of it. I mean, this is, as someone's just said on the chat as well, it's why Labour lost votes. And it is, because these are all fucking Labour constituencies.
Yeah.
And there's that shit is coming down from the top. We know it came down from the top because Gordon Brown wrote a fucking letter. Everyone's seen the letter that Gordon Brown said, saying, no, leave off. Basically, they wanted it. They were asking for it. And you know what? I get it.
Didn't that Labour MP say something similar? That an Asian woman.
Yeah.
Didn't she say they should just shut the fuck up or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
It was something around that, wasn't it? It was something unpleasant. Anyway.
I mean, I get it, right? I get it, because these girls, they're not necessarily going to be girls like my daughter that have got two parents and a stable, or whatever, and they're not going to prey on people like my daughter because they probably know full well that I would chop them to pieces if they came anywhere near her. They're going to be preying on little fucks, little shits, chavs, scumbags. The same people. So you got to think. I am thinking in this point, like, it's not a question of like all these things happening. It's like the same kids that were, burning, setting fire to McDonald's, getting thrown out of school, causing shit for the police every single day. And it's part of me wonders how much of them are like, these girls kind of vanished off the street. And I wonder how many of these coppers thought, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, oh, I'm better off without your bullshit in my life.
Well, yeah, they're human, aren't they? And they're assholes too.
Not that makes it right.
No.
But I'm trying to work out the frame of reference.
I just don't understand how any human being, regardless of what someone told you to do, could do nothing knowing that a child, and not that it makes a difference to the offence, but a vulnerable child in care.
Yeah.
The most vulnerable people in our society, not trans people, not gay people, kids. How can any human being can just...
Yeah. Well, that's the
thing. I don't get it.
Well, just for people that don't know, to be really, really clear, the reports and the investigation says that care workers witnessed these kids being picked up. They cars full of guys pulling up, the kid getting in and going, and they witnessed it. Nothing's come of it. They've told the police. Nothing. The police. No, leave it alone. Sod it. And I can't really imagine, because I've done that job. I can't imagine dealing with that. I can't imagine like the mindset of someone who would not act on it and not do something about it. And it makes me feel lucky because I was in fucking care, man.
Well, it's like I said on Twitter, and someone did call me racist for it, but no child should ever be harmed for diversity.
No, fuck that shit.
That's not diversity.
It's more racist to leave it be. It's more racist to think that...
It doesn't matter whose feelings are hurt. It doesn't matter what the outrage is. You protect the kids at all times. No exceptions. The best kids, the worst kids. No matter what they've done, the kids... And you protect them, and that's the end, the fucking end. And the police have come out now going, we're sorry, and no, fuck that. Yeah, Lee Hauser said, totally agree, Hayden, but like nature, they were wolves hunting the weakest. That's fine. We had shepherds there watching.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like,
Never seen a shepherd watch a wolf take a fucking sheep.
you're not going to stop it, but if someone's being paid by the government, be it as a police officer or a social worker, because all that money is government grants, you know, or directly paid or whatever, they're being paid to take care of it. You're never going to stop rapes. You're never going to stop child rape. You're never ever going to eradicate that.
The majority is still carried out by family members.
Yeah, of course.
Let's not forget that. You know, these pedo grooming gangs are just sensational in their horror and size and scope. But I think what makes it worse and compounds it is the mealy-mouthed attitude to it, the not reporting on it, the covering it, the
fucking
touching
Labour.
it.
I shared it on my. In fact, no, I talked about it on Midnight Madness. The leader of the Labour Council actually talking about it as the previous safeguarding issues. They don't even have the fucking balls to openly discuss it, and he's surrounded. You know, he's there in the council thing, giving his speech. He's surrounded by families who are disgusted. I'm presuming because their daughters, their nieces, their nephews have been raped, you know, forced drugs on him, branded, taken into slavery. They're all around him whilst he's there saying historic safeguarding issues.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, man.
And like everything else, we're to believe that this doesn't happen now, that it's finished. You know, that it just doesn't happen now. Doesn't happen now.
No, and here's the thing, man. This is what fucks me off, right? About all my sort of smug woke mates, like clapping at each other about what a racist scumbag Tommy Robinson is. But if you actually bother to listen to what the people who were there, like whatever he is, and yet, you know, him saying, oh, you know, a Paki taxi driven by a Paki and all that, you can take that and you can smear the entire man's movement on the back of it. But if you actually listen to the people who stand there and support him, they're almost entirely the families of these daughters who are not being listened to. And you know, there's a guy, Stephen Knight, I think he's called, Mancunian guy, and he's done some really good stuff going around interviewing him at these things.
Well, it's like you said, if we're so frightened of civil unrest, and you were right when you said this.
Yeah.
We don't fucking hesitate to throw that prick in prison, do we?
No. So you're not gonna arrest a rapist, a child rapist, for fear of upsetting brown people who, for some reason, you assume are just too fucking simple to not understand.
To understand the idea of paedophilia,
which is
and
nonsense,
it being
by
wrong.
the way, because we're talking about a minority of the Pakistani community here. The majority want justice. Why can't you arrest a child rapist, but you can pull that fucker in publicly for contempt of court?
Yeah, and bang him up.
And not give the slightest fuck of how that affects the community.
Well, we've already pointed out, you know, I use my Amazon measure. When Tommy Robinson's worse than Hitler.
Yeah, of course he is.
For anyone that doesn't know, my Amazon measure is Amazon ban books by certain authors. Excuse me, but they still sell Mein Kampf. So that's the measure. It's the Amazon Hitler measure. Are you worse than Hitler? Tommy Robinson apparently is worse than Hitler because Amazon won't sell, I say his book. Tommy Robinson hasn't written a fucking book.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've spoke to the guy and for nearly an hour. Well, he spoke.
It was a good chat.
He was very full of energy that evening, wasn't he?
He was.
Quite edgy and stuff. But he was really, he spoke a lot. And apparently he's worse than Hitler, but he didn't write no fucking book. And he cried on TV.